You've seen the names, now it's time to bring the action. Welcome to the inaugural FIM Women's Circuit Racing World Championship, live from the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli in Italy. A history-making destination and a groundbreaking category. 18 countries, 25 permanent riders, inspiring the next generation of women on track. This is going to be the first ever TISO Superpole session for World WCR. It's just around the corner, and we'll have a look right the way through the order of the stars of this first season of World WCR action. My name's Kiko Giles, and alongside me, Steve English. Steve, we are making history here. The first ever all-women World Championship. It has arrived. World WCR 2024, at long last, is about to be underway.
25-minute Superpole session to get the season underway. We've already had free practice this morning as well. Sanchez, Herrero and Carrasco were the pace setters in that session. Into this 25-minute session, obviously everyone's looking to set their fast time. This is where you're able to set the grid, but you also have to gain your experience around this racetrack. That's why at the end of the session, you'd certainly expect to see riders able to put in their fast times. Everyone's out here on the same package, a Yamaha R7, and it's just up to you to be able to get the most out of that for this session, but particularly as the season wears on, as your experience grows with this championship, this package, that's where it's going to be really interesting, because some of the riders have a lot of experience. Some of the riders are established names like Ana Carrasco, a world champion in the 300 class, Maria Herrera, obviously well known for her Grand Prix career as well, and then you've got riders coming through from national championships, European championships, and now it all comes down to what they're able to do in the course of this season.
They have had a test, it's worth making a note of that, the Corona test in May. Now, we had almost all the riders there. Emily Bondi wasn't present at that one, but she is here, the French star number 4, so keep an eye out for her. You'll see that many of the bikes do look quite similar, but they do have some variation. We'll take you right through the order as the session gets underway very, very soon. 25 minutes to decide the first ever pole sitter in World WCR. The amount of effort behind the scenes that has gone into making this championship, the amount of resources and time to be here at Misano has been well worth it. We had a very, very special event last night, actually, down by the beach in Riccione, with so many former superstars in the World Superbike paddock. Pier Francesco Chili, James Tozen, Ruben Chaus was there as well, all coming to launch this brand new championship. So with much fanfare, there's been plenty of hype about it, and we are about 1 minute to get the green light on this TISO Superpole session. Steve, we had that test, as I alluded to just a moment ago. Really interesting from a neutral's point of view, because it was a neutral track. It was at Cremona, a circuit that we'd not been to, but also to see exactly who has got good pace. And I think we got a good answer, because what we saw there has been more or less reflected in FB this morning.
Yeah, and we've been able to see some riders with plenty of experience able to get to the top of the timesheets in the free practice session. The Superpole session, a different situation as well. This is where the pressure's on. This is where you really do get to see a little bit into the character of the riders as well, and how they're able to deal with that. There's some riders have more experience than others. There's some riders that are coming into a level like a world championship for the first time, and I think it's really important that we do have people like Carrasco on the number 22 machine, Maria Herrera on the number 6 machine, Beatrice Neela as well on the 36 machine. They're riders and reputations that have been established in the European championships, but particularly for Carrasco and Herrera on the world stage, and we've been able to see over the last 10 years where they stack up in Moto3, Supersport 300s, and I think it's really important to have that as a level to understand where everyone else is at.
As you can see, they're making their way down pit lane, and the pit lane exit for the first time. That's the number 6 of Maria Herrera. She is one of the big names in this championship. Just ahead of her is number 52 of Jessica Howden. She's from South Africa. Then the number 99 from Chile, representing the South American country. That's Isis Carreño. All of these riders. Number 10 is Ran Yochai. Next to her is the number 64 of Sarah Sanchez. Sanchez was in World Supersport 300 before, and had a couple of good results, and she topped the first session earlier today. So plenty of characters right the way through this field. We'll get to them when this session gets underway proper. The number 77, as you can see, tipping in here to turn 8. That's Quercia Corner. That's Andrea Sibaka. Now, Andrea Sibaka is a bit of a special scenario for her, because she is also team manager for the Dazer Box 77 team in World Supersport 300, so doubling up on duties. And just a quick note, the number 33 behind her, the oldest rider in the field at 42 years of age, from Chinese Taipei. It is Chun Mei Liu, so keep an eye out for her. She was very fast in testing. Steve, about this session now, where they've had, say, limited running. They've obviously got training bikes and all the sort of that, but they've had 1.5 test days. They were in sessions. The weather wasn't great. They've only had really, say, half a day of dry action. How important is it just to get a feeling, first of all, in this session?
Yeah, it's the most important thing, and for all of these circuits as well, you've got a lot to learn, and I think that's one of the things that for a lot of the riders, when you chat to them, they've said that it is a big difference for them to come from, for most of the riders, national championships, and then to go to a full Grand Prix style circuit like this is a big challenge, and you're doing that with just the free practice session this morning and limited testing as well up until now, but that's part of the challenge. You're in the World Championship, and you have to be able to adapt to it. A lot of the riders have been able to get training bikes, like you said, Kiko, and that's part of the challenge for teams and riders as well. In terms of the championship, it's all here for a set charge, and the bike's provided, and then tyres, fuel, whatever you want to look at. So the riders and the teams know how much they have to budget for the race weekends, but it's outside of that the big challenges come from. You have to be able to train, you have to be able to get your training bike, you have to be able to get all of that testing and practice time in, and that comes at your own expense. So for a lot of these riders, when you speak to them, they're still having to find budget, they're still having to work full-time jobs for a lot of them, and still be able to give yourself this opportunity. But the level of excitement that there is for the championship to start is really interesting, and I think when you walk into the media centre, it's been one of the things that a lot of people have talked about from the get-go this weekend. This is the first round of the WCR Championship, and I think everyone's really interested to see how it's actually going to play out. Just for the Superpole session as well, obviously 25-minute session. It's just your fastest lap that'll set the grid as normal. It's 120% of the pole time is the qualification time as well. So it should be a case for these riders that they're able to all put themselves onto the grid. In terms of the times to expect in the free practice session this morning, it was a 49.7 is what was able to lead the way for Sarah Sanchez. So a 1 minute 49. That's what we're expecting to be in and around those fast times in this session. And then everyone needs to make sure that they're able to put themselves within the qualification time.
We're just looking through all the riders. This is Mia Ruston from Norway. She was training actually up in a circuit in Norway not that long ago on an R7 to try and get familiar with the bike. She was one of the riders who perhaps struggled a little bit more during that Cremona test. I know she went out early to do a track walk with one of the more experienced riders in Taylor Ralph, the number 8. But Mia will be looking to try. She actually had an incident this morning with Mallory Dobbs at this corner here, actually in the background, turn 13. Mallory Dobbs given a long lap penalty for tomorrow's race 1, which will be coming to you live and on YouTube for free all through 2024. So if you're joining us now, don't go anywhere, because the racing is also going to be on YouTube for free.
Yeah, just for a rider like Mia as well, it's a step up now for her. She's raced in the IDM Championship in the Supersport 300 class, and now you're into a World Championship as well. So there's a lot that these riders have to learn, and one of the biggest challenges is the R7 is a very different package to what they would have experienced in the past. I was speaking to Mallory Dobbs, the American rider, and Mallory was explaining that moving from the Supersport bike to the R7 has been a challenge. She raced in the Motor America Championship for the last few years, and on the Supersport bike you had to be a little bit different with your riding style. With the R7, you don't have as much power, so you're having to get on the gas a little bit more aggressively, and she's having to train herself to do that. And I think that's one of the big challenges for a lot of these riders, is what are you able to translate from your previous experience onto a very different package as well?
A lot of riders, particularly for the likes of Nicole van Asweken, the number 21, who at the moment is in 16th place. I caught up with her during the test, and she said that the hardest thing is, because she's coming from a superbike, is to learn the corner speed aspects of it all again. On a superbike you ride through the power, and it's actually, as a rider, a little bit easier, whereas for this to come back to the R7, it's a lot more physical in the corners. So it'll be an interesting dynamic to see how that plays out through the course of the season. This is the number 19 of Adela Juredničková from the Czech Republic, one of the youngest riders in the field. Team manager there is Jakob Smert, so no shortage of knowledge or expertise in that camp. This is Taylor Relf, one of the faster riders in the test. She actually topped the first ever session, because in the test it was session. It wasn't like a typical World Superbike test where it runs all day from 10 until 6 in the evening. There were sessions, allocated slots, and Taylor Relf the fastest of them. But this is a rider who has brought a lot of attention and is quite rightly one of the pre-season favourites. Anna Carrasco, 2018 World Supersport 300 champion, needs no introduction. She has been fast throughout testing and already is inside that top 2 in Superpole. She's just crossed the line at 50.2. Expect those times to get faster into the 140s, but Anna straight away and on the pace.
Yeah, and for Carrasco, it's a really big statement for the championship as well to have her on the grid, because she is one of those established riders that we know what to expect from Carrasco. Think back to her 300 career, always able to be a race winner and eventually a champion as well. And for the championship to have someone like Anna in here that's coming in from the Moto3 World Championship over the last couple of years, it's important to have her as that establishing rider to be able to see where the level's at. And the same for Maria Herrera that we see here on the number 6 machine. They're not because they're the riders with the experience, and certainly if anyone's going to be able to go with them, that's only going to reflect well on them as well. And for Maria, obviously we see her in the Moto2 World Championship as well, so double jobbing through the course of this season.
Sarah Sanchez, of course, did top the first session earlier today, but there's a load of other riders as well that will really want to make their name and presence felt. Beatrice Naylor is one of them. Now, Jonathan Ray was actually in the camp because Beatrice, for context, is part of the wider Pata, Promethean, Yamaha setup. Johnny actually went to see her after the first session this morning and was trying to help her out with a bit of bike position and whatnot, and given those top tips that only a 6-time world champion can give. Beatrice Naylor, 4 times a European women's champion, so absolutely no question of the ability. She's had World Supersport 300 races before and scored points, so she is one of the names to watch out for, particularly as this season goes on. This is another one, the number 96 of Roberta Ponziani. Now, when we were doing all the research about all these riders to try and put together portfolios and biographies and all this kind of stuff, I found out that Roberta Ponziani used to actually race mini bikes with Marco Bezzecchi, and there's a wonderful video on the Instagram channel of World WCR. Go and check it out and join the community if you so wish to do so, about Marco Bezzecchi talking about Roberta, and it is very nice and quite funny to see Roberta and Marco back then in their mini bike days. Go and check it out and see for yourself. Load of riders coming across the line. This is number 4 of Emily Bondi. Just to check up on Emily, she's actually injured. She missed the test and she's still going around on crutches. So it's going to be a trickier weekend than she would have wanted, that is for sure. Not just missing the test, but not being fully physically fit either. But Emily Bondi, previous training with Xavier Simeon, who is the team manager for her on the Zelos Motorsport machine, but also with Johan Zarco, a nice track day at the end of last year. So keep an eye out for Emily Bondi. She's definitely one to watch. If we just go through your top 5 as it is now, Maria Herrera provisionally on top, Carrasco second, Sanchez third, Ponziani and Isis Carreño rounding out that top 5. Ran Yochai from Israel in 6th place. 15 minutes on the clock, Steve. 10 minutes in already. They'll have a pretty good feeling and some good references of where they are on the track.
Yeah, we're only 0.3 of a second off what we did this morning as well, but 41 degrees track temperature shouldn't be a big issue for the R7 and the combination with the Pirelli tyres as well. But for the riders now, they're only going to get faster and faster, and that's where Anna Carrasco, you can see the timing tower on the left-hand side of the screen. Orange means you're on course for a personal best. Red means you're on course to move up to the top of the timesheets. Anna Carrasco very much on course to move to the top of the timesheets. She's got 0.7 of a second in hand, just coming into the final couple of corners now. What's interesting is a lot of the riders in groups together as well right now. You can see Carrasco, unsurprisingly, a group of riders behind her.
Yeah, Carrasco obviously one of the benchmarks. She comes across the line, that'll go, oh, it doesn't go provisional pole. I saw the number 52, that's Jessica Howden. She was waving her hands in the air there, so I wonder if there was perhaps a slight misdemeanor on the track somewhere else in involving another rider. Anna was 2.7 seconds off overall as she came across the line, so I presume Anna was also impacted by that. But Carrasco's second at the moment behind Maria Herrera. Those two names at the top, not a total surprise at all.
No, exactly, going to form that you'd expect, but plenty of riders going to give themselves a chance to move up as well, and you can see Anna's frustration there as well at losing that time through the end of the lap. It looked like it was Sarah Sanchez there on the 64 machine coming into the pits, and yeah, everyone's rightly a little bit frustrated at her for that as well, and that's Jessica Howden, like you said, on the 52 machine, just letting her frustration clear. The problem for that as well is it's going to cost her her next lap because she's going to be slow through this last corner.
Yeah, I spoke with Jessica Howden yesterday actually for an upcoming feature on in the World WCR social media channels and the like, and she's dedicated. She's come a slightly different way. She actually started quite late, aged 14, riding 250s and everything. So she's definitely, obviously coming from South Africa, good motorsporting heritage. Her father was the inspiration for that. But the move to Europe, she wasn't on the preferred tyres like she is now with Pirellis. So Howden, she's been in Europe for a while. She's won races, had a podium. So she is also really one to watch. And just in ninth place going up there into ninth, Ornella Ongaro. Now, what a character Ornella Ongaro is. Trust me, I hope at some point we get a prime photo interview with her because she is box office. She used to ride around with Marc Marquez back in the really old, around 2004, 20 years ago. So lots of history right the way through. A lot of these riders have actually grown up more or less alongside their male counterparts who've gone on to be multiple world champions. So it's great to see that they have an opportunity now themselves in their own world championship.
This next lap's going to be interesting for Carrasco as well, because she was half a second up at the end of her, at the midpoint of her last lap, and then lost all that ground in the second half of the lap. Luckily she caught that bit of traffic. She's got a bit of clear track in front of her now on the number 22 machine before there's a 5-rider group up the road from her, so she should have enough space to be able to get in a fast lap now, because the last couple of laps she's been thwarted ever so slightly, so she'll certainly be expecting to be able to get a little bit closer to Maria Herrera and probably become the first woman in 49 in this session.
Yeah, well, just got just over a tenth and a half between Maria Herrera and Anna Carrasco. At the moment, the top four covered by just over 0.6 of a second, so still plenty of margin to improve. Obviously, track temperatures have come up a lot since this morning, but that shouldn't impact too much on the overall time. We are expecting the times to come down. This is the 28 of Ornella Ongaro I was talking about just a moment ago. Behind her is Paquita Ruiz, who's from Palma de Mallorca, so plenty of history there. Paquita's grown up in various championships across all parts of Spain, so expect her to come good throughout the season. And Ornella Ongaro, much to Marc Marquez's surprise when he saw the entry list, we put the question to him not long ago in the MotoGP event in Barcelona. We put the question to him about Ornella, do you remember? And he just started laughing. So Ornella Ongaro is an absolute character, so look out for her. Actually, just to finish off with Ornella, she is with her niece almost all the time throughout 2024, so her niece is often around her, giving her the biggest support.
Yeah, the one thing as well is she's a rider that competed in the 125 Grand Prix as well back in 2009 at her home round in Le Mans. She tried to qualify for that, so she's had a lot of experience, and we'll see if she's able to make it count over the course of the season here.
Seeing a few red sectors now come in, this should be a really strong lap time for Maria Herrera. She was half a second up after the second split, and she does improve her time. I know she lost quite a lot, still not quite into those 149s. Maria's learning that R7 as well, like most others. She doesn't have that much experience with that bike. Across the line comes Sarah Sanchez, this time with no one around her and not getting in anyone's way, but she goes third. That's her best lap time of this session, but still a little bit off what she was able to do this morning. As they come through turns 1 and 2. Misano as a track, Steve, not a bad place to get this championship underway. It's a track that most riders will have ridden around. It's not too complicated. It's not a Portimao, for example, where you are really in at the deep end.
Yeah, a lot of riders have raced in the Italian Supersport 300 class, for instance, but you know, there's 26 riders out in the field this weekend, so the number that have actually got experience here quite small, but they've had the bit of track time to be able to get to test here, to practice here, and then the free practice session this morning as well. But Misano's a complicated track as well. Even with the R7, that end of the lap, you've really really got to be committed through. You've got to have that confidence through the fast right-handers. So it's about building yourself up to that, and that's difficult when you've got a 25-minute Superpole session just after, 20 minutes this morning as well. So it is limited track time, and I think that's where experience is going to make a big difference as the weekend goes on, and especially as the season goes on. Just saw as well, Ponziani's been able to move up to second spot there in the number 96 machine as well, just a tenth of a second slower than Maria Herrera. But Carrasco just about to come across the line. Carrasco, the first rider, into the 49s.
Yeah, 4/10 quicker than Maria Herrera's previous best lap. So Ana Carrasco, benchmark has been laid down. Let's see if Maria Herrera is going to respond. I'll tell you what, Jessica Howden following her as well. So this will be a good learning lap, I think, for Jessica. She can get her eye in and see what lines Maria's taking around here. Maria with bags of experience around this track. So Mazzano, not a new track for Maria to get around. Of course, this is the team's home event as well. It's the Forward Racing's back team. This is across the line for Sarah Sanchez. She's in fourth at the moment. She crosses the line, moves onto that front row. Sanchez and Ponziani changing for that last front row slot.
I think just as well, you mentioned about the team situation as well. Obviously, it's a bit different in the WCR because the bikes are all provided and equal, but then each rider will have one mechanic, certain team element as well, because some riders are here with basically their own entrant, and then some riders are here as a team entrant. And for the likes of Ana Carrasco, she's here with the Evan Brothers team, so a team with so much experience in World Championship racing, and that makes a big difference because it's not just about being able to get yourself organised when you're out on track. It's the flights, it's the hotel, it's, you look at the number 8 machine there of Taylor Ralph, and it's about being able to organise visas. All of those things, if you're part of a bigger team, that's all taken care of. Whereas if you're running this engine from Australia like Ralph, it's a big challenge to be able to get everything organised, to get yourself across the world, get yourself based in Europe for the summer, and have all your ducks in a row. So if those elements are taken care of, racing, budget, everything like that, it does make it a lot easier to focus on just the riding at hand as well. But that's the challenge in this championship as well, as riders try and establish themselves.
Ruff's just gone up into 11th. Chun-Mei Liu has gone up into 6th. I said she was fast in the test. She may be the oldest rider on this grid, but that experience really coming to the fore. So fantastic for the rider from Chinese Taipei. So keep an eye out for her. The number 33 in 6th position, looking very strong at the moment. What we're seeing here, Sarah Sanchez at turn 4.
And we'll just see what happens for down into there. Just runs out of road as well. That's actually further on around the lap as well. Oh, it is turn 4. And it's easy just to go in a little bit hot into that corner as well. If you brake a couple of meters too late, you just don't have the room to get the bike stopped. So Sanchez just getting caught out there. 7 minutes left in the session. She's lost this lap, but still plenty of time left in it as well. Just to look at the times as well, half a second between the top 4, which is good going at this stage as well. We'll see if anyone else is able to make that step to bring themselves closer. The likes of Howden, 1.7 seconds off in 5th position. So there is a gap between 4th and 5th. We'll see if anyone's able to move up and fill that.
Ponziani is currently on a very decent lap. She has had 2 red helmets up through the first 2 sectors. Let's see what she can do in the last 2. This is the 36 of Beatrice Naylor. Naylor down in 9th at the moment. Expect a little bit of an improvement from her. Of course, this is her return to the World Championship for the number 36. Of course, this championship is new, but she's been in World Supersport 300 before, and 4 times, as I said, 4 times European champion. So Naylor's potential is very, very high. She's got great people around her. Paul Denning's team, actually, with that entry. Jonathan Ray, Andrew Pitt. We saw Andrew Pitt in the test, working with her a little bit as well. This is Roberta Ponziani coming across the line. Does she improve? She does improve her time, but not position, stays 4th.
Yeah, just about Beatrice as well. It's important for her to be able to give herself a good chance in this championship as well. She's got a lot of experience, top 10 finisher and qualifier in the Supersport World Supersport 300 World Championship. She's got experience in the Italian Championships, former Red Bull Rookies rider as well. So she's one of those riders that certainly on the basis of her European Championship experience as well, you expect to be up there at the front of the field. She's going to be disappointed that right now she's on the 4th row of the grid, but she is on course to move herself up onto the 2nd row, and then into these final 5 minutes, that's when you've really got to be able to get your lap time and give yourself a chance of being able to get up onto the front row of the grid.
This is Jessica Howden. She is going to go up provisionally to the front row. She will take 0.3 to the line. He just misses out. 4.5 tenths, and up into 8th goes Ran Yokai, who's just been demoted tonight. We said expect something from Naylor. She's just gone onto the 2nd row in 6th.
Yeah, what's important is, though, we got half a second there between the top 5 because Howden's been able to find that time and get herself up onto the 2nd row of the grid. And if Nela, with a couple of laps left, is able to give herself another chance to improve. That just brings it that little bit more competitive at the front as well, which is what we want to see.
At the moment, almost everyone is on track, apart from Issy's Karania, the number 99. She's in 12th place. She just actually left the pits, as you can see with the graphic, little bike front wheel graphic on the timing tower on the left-hand side. Sarah Sanchez now up into third, or stays third, but improves her time.
Yeah, the only other rider in the pits right now is Silfa on the number 5 machine, and we'll wait and see if she's able to get herself out to do one more fast lap. It's actually going to be her 20th birthday on Sunday as well, when we've got the second race of the weekend. Crystal
Silfa representing the Dominican Republic, the first ever rider in a World Championship to represent the Dominican Republic. She's actually a substitute rider. Colombian rider Sara Varon is injured. She is in the paddock, and we'll probably see her about, but Sara Varon will be back at Donington. This is just a one-off substitute ride for Cristal Silfa.
Just looking at it there as well, Maria Herrera has just come through the speed trap, you can see there, and it's 196, the fastest speed we've seen so far. So without a slipstream in front of her, she's losing that speed all the way down that straight in towards Carmone. But she's not losing too much time, still on course for a personal best, but needs a really good final sector to be able to bring the fight to Anna Carrasco.
And she's coming across a slower ride. That's the number 34 of Alicia Whitmore, who's cruising on the racing line. That's not good for Maria Herrera. Maria's going to be caught out here. She won't be happy about that. And did she go on green as well? Perhaps taking avoided action. Across the line, Herrera goes. That's not going to put her on pole. She actually didn't lose that much time. Naylor goes across the line. That will improve her time, but no position.
I would say as well, for Whitmore there, only a few tenths of a second off of her personal best in this session as well, so she was pushing on to be able to improve on her time. Just one rider that is improving, Ponziani on the number 96 machine with a red sector in sector 1. Keep an eye on that time and tower on the left hand side of the screen. As I said earlier, the red sectors mean you're on course to move up to the top of the times.
Ponziani, as we get the graphic on screen, is wow, like halfway round. That's 0.4 of a second. So Roberta Ponziani, absolutely no slouch at all. Sarah Sanchez has gone top. That is a fantastic time, 49.5. That is an all-time lap record, obviously in this class, because we've only had one previous session.
What's really impressive with that as well is she wasn't fastest of all in any of the individual sectors, but able to put it together for that one lap.
That's what it's all about, putting it together for a lap. Jessica Howden back out for a final run of things, perhaps with a fresh tyre, we'll see, but the 52 cruises down pit lane. She'll have one flying lap once she's done her out lap to do to make any improvement on her current 4th place.
Yeah, she's going to run out of time though in all likelihood. It's going to be more than that to be able to do the out laps. That's a shame for Jessica, but she's provisionally up there on the second row of the grid. This is Ponziani about to finish her lap on the number 96.
He's got a bit of slipstream as well behind the 28 of Ornello Ongaro. Ponziani, just misses out, goes second, but Ponziani second, not that far away.
Keep an eye on Maria Herrera. Here's the number 6 machine. Herrera on course to move up to the top of the timesheets. It's a 49.5 she has to beat.
She is in 4th place at the moment. She's not actually even on the front row. Makes it round the Mazzano curve, turn 16. Fires it out down the straight. Will Maria Herrera go provisional pole? She comes to the line and crosses it now. Maria Herrera does go provisional pole at 49.390. Maria Herrera moves the benchmark, moves that goalpost just a little bit further ahead of Sarah Sanchez, and in 3rd place Roberta Ponziani. Anna Carrasco 4th, needing to find an improvement to see if she can get a front row.
And for Herrera, her ideal lap still a couple of tenths faster than that as well, so we'll see if on her final lap she's able to make that bit of a step. Anna Carrasco is on that second row of the grid, not on course to improve. She's got time for one more lap.
Let's see what Sarah Sanchez can do. 2 red sectors in sector 2 and sector 3. Sector 4 is now completed. Does she go to the top? Oh, just misses out by half a tenth, but it's second nonetheless.
This is really good to see though, because Herrera only half a tenth faster than Sanchez. Ponziani up there as well. Carrasco and Howden on that second row of the grid. So it's not the Herrera and Carrasco show that a lot of people feared or expected for this championship right now. So this is really good just to show that there's a good level at the front.
Roberta Ponziani and Ornella Ongaro making their way around turn 14. It might be a bit tight for them to see if they're going to get another lap. I'm not sure they're going to get another lap. This looks like they're going to take the flag.
They're not on course to improve as well, so we'll see if they're able to get through to the end of the lap. 10 seconds, it's right on the limit to be able to get there before the checkered flag.
Counting down, 5, 4, you know where it's going to end. Ornella Ongaro might just get there, or she might not. I think she's missed it. Ornella Ongaro moves across into 7th. It didn't look like a lap that would put her on the 3rd row, but it has nonetheless, so good stuff there, but she did take the flag. So Ornella Ongaro, no more last laps for her.
Maria Herrera just coming into the last corner. Doesn't look like she's going to improve her time. Anna Carrasco, though, up by 0.2 of a second at the halfway stage of the lap, so we'll keep an eye on the number 22 machine. She's got no one in front of her on track right now. She's just coming into the final sector. But for Anna Carrasco, she's not able to use the slipstream from the riders in front of her on that long back straight.
Herrera across the line at the moment. She can do no more. She is in provisional pole. But watch out for Isis Carreño at the moment. This is going to put her in 6th place. She's in 13th at the minute. She's got Anna Carrasco as a marker. They're coming through the final 2 corners. Carrasco the 22, the 99 of Carreño. Let's see how it goes for both of them. Carrasco, she's lost a little bit in that 3rd sector, but will she manage to save a front row at least across the line? Carrasco does go 3rd and Carreño does go 6th. So a bit of working together perhaps with Carreño. A fantastic strategy there. Followed Carrasco out, 6th for her.
Yeah, and Sarah Sanchez came across the line as well and wasn't able to improve her time at the end. Good effort there from Carreño, though, because she'd been down there on the 5th row of the grid and able to jump herself up onto the 2nd row of the grid. A second between those front 2 rows of the grid, and then Beatrice Neal just over a second off the pace. So we've got 7 riders that are pretty closely matched right now, you'd have to say, for the first round of the WCR. Obviously, race conditions, 12 laps. If you're able to stay together, you've got a chance, and I think it's really exciting to be able to see the different riders giving themselves a chance for tomorrow. Sarah Sanchez, though, middle of the front row, she set the pace this morning. She's laid down a bit of a marker in this one as well, because we know that Carrasco and Maria Herrera are going to be those 2 favourites through the season, and I think it's obviously gone to form with Maria Herrera able to take that pole.
Sanchez in 2nd, fine lap time, only half a 10th away. Just on Jessica Howden, Steve, I think she did just about get through for a fast lap, because she was the only one who hadn't taken the checkered flag. In the end, she's come down pit lane, so 5th for Jessica Howden. So outside those top 4, all look quick. Howden in 5th, 6th for Carreño, Naylor Ongaro, Lucy Michelle, who was fast in the test, in 9th, and Makita Ruiz will round out the first ever top 10 in the FIM Women's Circuit Racing World Championship. But this is your pole sitter, Maria Herrera, a 49.390. She will be very, very happy with that. It's in the history books. They can't take it away from her, unless, of course, it was a lap time set on the green, but let's not go there just yet. Maria Herrera, number 6 on pole.
Well, that's the one thing that's been quite interesting looking through this session. There hasn't really been the need to run all the way out over the curbs towards the green paint. It looks like the riders have been able to keep themselves fairly well in control all the way through that session. So for Maria Herrera, really important to be able to take that pole position, and good to see for Maria as well, for her to be able to jump into the championship and give herself that opportunity.
As you can see, a massive round of applause, and the team are down there waiting. So special one as well, the team, as we say, support Maria Herrera, and this is their first round, obviously all together in this championship. But it is the team's home round as well. There's the big man himself, Giovanni Cazzari, who's down there. This was Maria Herrera. She did use a lot of the curb, but as you said, Steve, rightly so as well, not many using the green.
I think as well for Maria, though, this is a really important moment, because from my memory of her time in Junior GP or CEV as it was back then, she had front rows, but I don't remember having a pole position. And then obviously in 300 Supersport Moto E, I don't remember that as well. So I think this is the first time we'll see Maria on pole. So it's a big moment for her in the World Championship.
Massive moment indeed. I mean, back in the CEV days, she had race wins, of course. She beat Fabio Quartararo. Who can forget that moment back in Jerez 2014 when she beat him on the run to the line. So Maria Herrera making her presence felt absolutely in Misano for this first ever World WCR event. She gets the Pirelli pole cap on, and we are going to hear from her very, very soon as she gets ready. Maria Herrera is your first ever pole sitter. Let's hear from her.
Maria, history in the making. You just achieved the first ever World WCR pole position. Congratulations, how do you feel?
I feel super happy because I didn't expect it. I didn't know that I was the pole position, so very, very happy. Thank you very much, Clean Forward, my team and my family for support me, Arco for the technical part, and yeah, really happy and keep pushing.
Brilliant stuff, thank you.
Thank you.
Maria Herrera, of course, also does a little bit of training with Alvaro Bautista, the World Superbike Championship leader. So she is not perhaps unfamiliar with some of the bigger names in World Superbike. So the final results: Maria Herrera, Sara Sanchez, Ana Carrasco. It is a Spanish 1-2-3. Home hero Roberta Ponziani in fourth, Jessica Howden, and Isis Carreno complete that second row. But all the way down, Chunmei Liu, fine performance in 11th. Ran Yochai for Israel in 12th. Lena Kemmer, Nicole van Asbeek and Mia Ruston in 15th. All the way down to Christel Silfer, the replacement rider for Sarah Veron. She with a 1:57.805. But expect it all to change throughout the races and throughout further sessions. It is the first season, so do not read into just one session's results too much. It cannot be taken away, though, that Maria Herrera has come into World WCR and absolutely lit up the timing screens in just a couple of sessions. But she'll have to convert pole position when it matters tomorrow. Join the action live on YouTube. Join the community across all social media platforms. And until tomorrow, catch you then for the first ever World WCR race.
Allora attenzione, sì, tra 12 minuti e 30 entreranno in pista i piloti della Super Sport 300, grande spettacolo perché dopo il debutto del mondiale femminile a Misano non poteva che essere qui. Intanto voglio fare un saluto a un pilota che ha corso anni addietro anche nel mondiale Super Sport della 600. Pensate che lui, qui parliamo ovviamente dell'età della preistoria, lui correva anche nella 250 Grand Prix, con la Prix dei corso lì, con la Honda il 250 GP a livello di campionato europeo, se non vado errato, ha fatto un po' di wild card, correva, era uno di quei ragazzi all'epoca della Sport Production 125. Poi dopo nel suo cammino sapete quando uno comincia a maturare con gli anni ha bisogno di più equilibrio e quindi ha iniziato a correre con le quattro ruote. Con le quattro ruote si è tolto delle belle soddisfazioni perché questo signore che arriva da Ravenna, a Romagna, si è aggiudicato il titolo indipendenti all'epoca mondiale, del 2011 nella World WCR, ovvero il mondiale turismo famosissimo all'epoca, quando c'erano gli anni di Ivan Muller e degli altri grandi delle ruote, Gabriele Tarquini, gli altri grandi delle ruote Dust e compagnia bella. Ho detto Dust e scorsato la testa. No, erano tanti personaggi. Fabio Fabiani che comunque adesso partecipa al campionato italiano Gran Turismo con la Porsche, quindi
l'anno scorso ho fatto l'europeo 2 anni e quest'anno faccio l'italiano Gran Turismo.
Però vedi, tu ami le auto, un po' come me, siamo polivalenti, 2 e 4 ruote, poi si torna con gioia nel paddock del motociclismo, è vero o no? In questo paddock che è il tuo primo paddock.
Sì, no, molti amici, sono passato a vedere Manuel Puccetti, Danny Sacchetti, tanti amici, quindi è chiaro che vengo molto volentieri a vedere le ruote che comunque a livello estetico sono più spettacolari delle 4, diciamo, ancora. Poi il mio primo amore non si scorda mai.
Ecco, il primo amore non si scorda mai, tu che hai l'occhio lungo e l'attenzione per i piloti da tempo, perché tu hai seguito anche poi dei piloti, non diciamo quali, ma hai seguito diversi piloti anche in anni recenti. Ecco, ti eri subito interessato sui test di questa mattina, sulle libere di questa mattina di Superbike che hanno visto BMW confermata veloci come nei test pre-Misano con Toprak grazie a Zoglu.
Ma io Toprak l'ho conosciuto quando appunto collaboravo con Puccetti ed è un fenomeno, è un funambolo, è una persona squisita, quindi diciamo che posso solo dire cose positive di lui. Secondo me è un gran pilota e se BMW la vede lunga, secondo me lo farà debuttare in MotoGP entro qualche anno, secondo me.
Allora, queste sono sensazioni con, diciamo così, conoscenza dell'ambiente. Dall'altra parte volevo chiederti, pacchetto programma Superbike, sei arrivato che stavamo ammirando il primo turno di prove dedicato alle ragazze di qualifiche, abbiamo la 300 che sta per entrare, sempre più ricca di talenti giovani, abbiamo la Super Sport, non possiamo più dire più 600 perché in realtà più delle moto sono delle 955 e delle F3, quindi delle 3 cilindri, quindi sì, dico cosa ha detto lui, perché io ovviamente ho un certo aplomb, però è innegabile dire che dal punto di vista delle case partecipanti, del programma gare, se consideriamo che a Misano c'è anche il monomarca Yamaha R3 che è Coppa del Mondo e il trofeo Aprilia con la 660 che è uno spettacolo, insomma chi ama le moto e va in moto e viene ad assistere alla Superbike, che pacchetto trova?
Pacchetto completo, diciamo, perché ci sono moto appunto da neofiti che vanno bene da iniziare e moto dei super specialisti che sono le Superbike, diciamo, c'è un percorso completo, quindi molto bello e molto performante.
Allora, bolle in pentola qualcosa per seguire qualche pilota e sistemarlo in uno di questi team del mondiale? Possiamo svelarlo? Oppure sei proprio questa volta unicamente da turista pronto a tornare al volante della tua Porsche?
No, sono solo turista in questa maniera oggi sono veramente solo turista.
Allora salutiamo Fabio Fabiani che lo ritroveremo comunque nel campionato italiano Gran Turismo nel proseguo della stagione, sarà al Mugello quando?
L'ultimo 24-25 agosto, al Mugello.
Ecco, allora lo ritroverete al Mugello con la sua Porsche, con la SP Racing e la sua bella avventura nel tricolore Gran Turismo che poi in realtà è internazionale. Ciao!
Ciao a tutti!